Now, I'm going to start by saying something that may shock some of you, but I'll say it because I know I'm not alone in this. I don't really care for Will Smith as an actor. Happy Hump Day and Thanksgiving Eve, family. Brian Ashley, 3000 here, host of the Cookout Trivia, the first and only live game show for black excellence, where the trivia is blackety black and there are
no raisins in the potato salad.
I've been meaning to start the YouTube for the platform, but I want it to be inspired and have something to say. The new movie that's in theaters and on HBO Max right now, King Richard, did just that. And I want to give it a spoiler-free review for all of you who haven't seen it. In short, you need to see this movie. If ever you had a dream or an idea of a dream that you want to see through, this is the movie for you. Now, I'm going to start by saying something that may shock some of you, but I'll say it because I know I'm not alone in this. I don't really care for Will Smith as an actor. I never did. This is no disrespect to Will or any shade. I love what Will Smith has done for our culture in film, TV, and music. And there's only one Will Smith. But I liked him better as a rapper. And to be clear, I'm talking about Summertime on back. Nothing after that, especially when he was Big Willie style and getting jiggy with it. But shout out to Nas. I never really watched The Fresh Prince because I thought it was too silly. But yeah, I've seen it more than a few times. I mean, Karen Parsons and Tatiana Ali, duh. And whenever he did a movie, I couldn't shake the fact that I'm watching Will Smith acting a part. To be fair, when you're as high profile as Will Smith is, and if you've grown up watching his rise from music to acting, it would be hard for most people to shake. However, when the actors are really good, you can actually forget who they are. More on that later. I'm a pretty harsh critic when it comes to movies. I don't know if it's the Virgo in me or just that I have an extremely low tolerance for stupid premises, dumb plots, poor storytelling, bad acting, whack special effects, and overused movie tropes that don't add anything. I don't know about you, but after I spend 2 hours watching something, I want to feel like my time was well spent. Few things piss me off more than wasting my time watching unfulfilling entertainment. Because in that time, I could have been working on fulfilling my dream and getting closer to my purpose. With that in mind, I evaluate movies mainly in 3 areas: story, acting, and editing. After I break those 3 down, I'll give it a rating, and you can decide if it's worth your time. First, the story. Who doesn't want to know the story about the man, or better yet, the father, behind 2 of the greatest athletes in history? This story is a prototype for having a dream, staying the course, and manifesting everything you set out to do. However, in most movies of this type, especially sports-related movies, the focus and challenge is usually an internal one where the subject of the movie improves themselves to be the best at something. Rocky is the first movie that comes to mind in this respect. There, Sylvester Stallone overcame challenges in his life to make himself better. Also, I think about the Pistol Pete movie, which is real life. These figures all have something within them that compels them to persevere. In King Richard, sports greatness came about because of the focus and perseverance of the father to make his children great. The dedication of parents to their children's endeavors isn't given enough attention, in my opinion. One of my nieces was a darn near soccer prodigy for most of her growing up. Soccer isn't my sport, but my sister driving up and down the highways, taking my niece to play in this tournament and that tournament used to wear me out just thinking about how time consuming it was. They didn't have AAU when I was a kid, and at least in Savannah, but now AAU sports are a huge enterprise, and it seems that only the children with the most dedicated parents really get to the next level. I hear about how whole families move to different parts of the country for their children to play ball. I'm so in awe of that but I can't relate. I probably can't relate because I was never that good. But don't get it up, I was far from sorry. But what Richard Williams was able to do was inspirational because you knew that they weren't wealthy. But I like that the movie didn't try to beat you over the head with a poverty story, and it's probably because they weren't living in poverty. In their household, there were 5 girls, 1 woman, and 1 man. And from what I got from this movie, he was holding it down well enough. The obstacles he had to get through to protect his girls, as well as build 2 tennis legends, was all relatable. For you girl fathers out there, you're likely familiar with some, if not all of the same challenges. And Richard Williams had 5. Sheesh. To sum it up, the story was told well. The pacing was good and I didn't lose interest. Now the acting. The girls playing Serena and Venus Williams were flawless. Sanaya, Sydney, and Demi Washington. The chemistry between those two young sisters was so on point, I actually wondered if they could be related in real life. Actually, the chemistry for the entire family was so on point, I felt like I was watching a family. The way that they interacted with each other just seemed so familiar and natural at the same time. We know these girls. We know this family. If you aren't this family, you went to school with them or you went over to their house after school to see if their son or daughter could come out to play. Remember that? I know a lot of you young folk don't know nothing about that. As for the mother, Anjanae Ellis, and Serena and Venus's mom in the movie, she didn't say a whole lot, but when she did, it seemed like everything stopped. You paid attention, and there was no way you could ignore her contribution. Richard and Brandy were on the same team, and it was beautiful to see these two working together toward the same goal for their children. From the movie, I actually give Brandy Williams more credit for Serena and Richard the credit for Venus. But here's the thing, if there were no Venus, I doubt there would have been a Serena. And it all looked like it was part of the plan, which is genius parenting. Richard Williams for the win. And speaking of Richard Williams, Will Smith. Before I mention how when actors are really good, you forget that it's them. Well, it happened to me about 20 minutes or so in. Yes, he knocked it out the park. Even though I Am Legend is my favorite Will Smith movie, this is the best movie I've ever seen him in. The dialogue, his speech, his inflections, expressions, his mannerisms, his walk, even his weight. It was not Will Smith. I've seen a few pictures of Richard Williams, but I know that wasn't Will Smith after 30 minutes. I could even watch this movie again, which is something I rarely do. Lastly, the ending. I don't have much to say about the ending because when you have a true story, the ending is whatever point in time they choose to end the movie. And you can't really get upset if that particular point isn't a satisfying end to a movie. It kind of is what it is. In this case, though, I didn't have a problem with the ending. And as far as I'm concerned, the story is still going. The story's still being written. But maybe when we're old, we'll get different parts of the story or stories that start with where this one left off and focus more on Venus and Serena. I think we all are fascinated with their relationship, their sisterly love, and their family dynamics, and maybe from their point of view. So, I got to give this a rating. I was thinking of a suitable icon to denote my love for movies, and stars and thumbs up was just too boring. Staying with the theme of my platform, the Cookout Trivia though, I decided to go with one of my favorite foods and the star of any cookout, ribs. Yes, I love ribs. When I lived in Tampa many years ago, Sonny's Barbecue had all-you-can-eat ribs on Wednesdays. I used to save up my appetite all day, and when I got there, all I wanted was ribs, no sides, and sweet tea. It would look like I was in a rib eating contest when I was done because piles and piles of rib bones and rib plates. Needless to say, all-you-can-eat ribs on Wednesdays didn't last, so I'll probably mess it up. I give this movie 4.5 out of 5 ribs. In the meantime, be sure to download the Cookout Trivia Game Show app. It's the first and only interactive live trivia game on Black excellence where you can win prizes from Black-owned businesses and cash. It's free to download and it's free to play. The first game is on Blackity Black Friday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's in 2 days. Download it now. I'll leave the link down below. Have a happy Thanksgiving, family.